Right now at 11, a massive explosion at a Washington apartment complex forces firefighters to back off. Plus,
he crossed the line on multiple different accounts.
Why more patients are now suing over a pediatrician already accused of sex abuse. And
collided with a drone back there in the turn.
Close call from the cockpit where a passenger plane collided with a drone while on final approach. Then later,
there's a crab in there. I can see that they're crab. You know, the crab that are in your pants.
Busted for smuggling shellfish in some creative places. And in sports, what to know about the Blazers' big and some might say questionable trade that could just be the beginning.
This move is a precursor to something bigger coming down the pipeline.
But first at 11, we're keeping a close eye on a wildfire that forced evacuations on the Washington side of the gorge. We're glad you're with us tonight. I'm David Mulco. The good news, evacuation levels have now been downgraded near Lyle. That's in Klickitat County across from the Rowena area, with investigators now looking for evidence, and it appears zeroing in on a specific time and location. Alma McCarty tracking all of that for us tonight. Alma?
Yeah, David, here is a look at the evacuation map for the Lyle Hill fire. The area in yellow, previously under a level 3 go now, is now level 2 get set, with most populated part of the town near the Columbia that is under a level 1 get ready tonight. As of 9 p.m., emergency management also announced Centerville Highway has reopened. The fire burned 233 acres and at its peak threatened 75 structures. While it's at 0% containment, fire crews say that they have stopped any further spread. Crews spent the day strengthening fire lines to keep the fire within its perimeter, and with aircraft used support firefighters on the ground as needed. What caused the fire remains unclear. However, fire officials are asking anyone with pictures or video showing the start of the fire, specifically taken between 1:40 and 1:55 p.m. on Sunday, to reach out. Investigators also hoping to track down some hikers who may have been out and about in the Riverview Drive area before 1:40 on Sunday. Many people in this area have been through this before and know the drill when it comes to evacuating.
We had taken our motor home down and parked it where we could have a quick leave, and my husband got all the paperwork, you know, when the cop came and told us to leave. So
it's still standing. I can see flames out the window, but across the street, but I'm safe right now. We got all our livestock, all our animals out.
The progress on the fire, a relief to residents tonight who have been thanking the firefighters on social media for all of their hard work. David?
Painstaking work, and at least it looks like it is paying off. Thanks so much, Alma. Tonight, 5 new lawsuits have been filed in connection to Dr. Michael Wilmington. He is the Clark County pediatrician accused of child sex abuse who took his own life last month. A warning, the details here may be triggering and difficult for some viewers. One survivor, known as Jane Doe 2, says she trusted Dr. Wilmington for 2 decades. First as a patient, then as a mother. She alleges as she went through puberty, he asked her to email questions or photos of her changing body and performed a pap smear her attorney says was not standard practice. Another woman, referred to as Jane Doe 5, says she asked to change doctors after an exam. Her mom says she reported his actions to Kaiser Permanente Salmon Creek, where he worked at the time.
They tell you you can trust them, but when it mattered most, they didn't do anything to help me. Instead, they tried to silence me further and tell me I was in the wrong and made me question things.
It's really disheartening to hear that they had complaints from 20 years ago. They've had a multitude of complaints, and obviously nothing was done.
We really appreciate those survivors speaking out. Kaiser, which is now at the center of the lawsuits, wrote in a statement today, quote, "It is fully committed to understanding the facts," adding, quote, "Caring for children is among the most profound responsibilities it holds, and it rests on trust." Kaiser says an outside investigation is also underway. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, starting in Gresham, where police are investigating an early morning homicide. One person was found dead following reports of gunfire at an apartment complex on Southeast 185th near Yamhill. That was just before 4. No word yet on any suspects or arrests. Tonight, a Clackamas County man is in jail accused of killing his wife. Sheriff's Deputy C. Marcus Bowen called 911 late Friday, telling dispatchers He had shot his wife at their home on South Camoth Road. When deputies got there, they detained Bowen and found 36-year-old Tara Devney dead inside. Bowen is facing a manslaughter charge right now, although investigators say additional charges could follow. And a 21-year-old has drowned at a popular natural area known as Blue Pool. The Lynn County Sheriff's Office saying Kenny Trong from Kansas was visiting with friends when he jumped into the water at what's officially known as Tamalich Falls. Witnesses say he struggled to swim toward shore before going under. The Sheriff's Office reminding people to be cautious. The cliffs surrounding the pool range from 10 to 60 feet high, and the water temperature averages 37 degrees, which can send you instantaneously into cold water shock. Well, let's switch to a live look over the Rose City on this Monday after a cool couple of days where the season for swimming kind of felt like a distant memory, though it seems, Matt, like that's about to change as we head toward the holiday weekend, and that's going to make a lot of folks really happy.
We've got a really great week on the way. It's going to start cloudy and cool and then get progressively warmer and clearer as the week goes on, and the Dow's got clearer as today went on. Looking out from our camera there, you can see the clouds thinning out, but I tell you what, the real story in the Dow's wasn't the clearing. It was the wind. I'll show you the wind gusts in a minute. Salem right now sitting at 56 degrees, and our temperatures tonight are running really close to what they were last night, within a couple degrees in most locations. See, Portland is exactly the same. Hillsborough a couple degrees cooler, McMinnville a few warmer. All right, outside of the Dow's right now, look, it's 62. The wind is still gusting to nearly 30 miles an hour, and the gusts today in the gorge were impressive. The Dow's 46. We had a gust of 43 miles an hour. Lyle, gust of 51 at Rowena. So again, this has been really making it challenging for those fighting the Lyle Hill fire out there in the gorge, but good to hear they're making some progress on that. As we go into the 4th of July weekend, cool through Wednesday, then it begins to get sunnier and warmer on Thursday and Friday, but not hot. So it's the best of all worlds, Dave. It's going to be a really great 4th of July weekend. More on that in a bit.
Yeah, timing could not be better. Thanks, Matt. Let's talk about Rip City now with a controversial and some might say questionable move. The Blazers reportedly trading 2 players to the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for a point guard named Ja Morant. Though, don't we have enough point guards? Hart Edwards breaks down what we know about the new guy.
The Portland Trail Blazers made a move today to bring in another player, Ja Morant from the Memphis Grizzlies. On the way out, Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. ESPN, the first to report this deal. Morant is a dynamic player who has played his entire 7-year career with the Memphis Grizzlies. He's a former Rookie of the Year and 2-time All-Star, a dynamic scorer and a great passer. His brand of basketball is very exciting. He appeals to a young fan base. But on the other side, he has had issues with injuries and also off the court, serving 2 suspensions in 2023 for displaying a gun in an Instagram video and then also a gun in a live stream. Chad Dewing of Rip City Radio says this could be a chance for him to turn things around.
He's coming to a team now that has veteran leadership and a very strong locker room with guys like Dame. So if there's a place where he could be successful and kind of rejuvenate his career, I think Portland would be one of those spots for him because of the support around him, both in the front office, on the team, and strong veteran leadership.
So the question is, did the Blazers need to bring in another guard? And could that mean another deal is ahead for Portland?
In a vacuum, adding Ja Morant to a roster that already has Damian Lillard and Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson, adding another guard is not something that you would think that this roster needs. So I think the conventional wisdom is that this move is a precursor to something bigger coming down the pipeline with free agency kicking off tomorrow at 3 o'clock local time.
Did mention players that the Blazers might be interested in. We're talking about Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics, or Anthony Davis from the Wizards, and also Trey Murphy from the Pelicans. Those could be targets for Portland in the future. Art Edwards, KGW Sports.
Tick-tock, tick-tock. Meanwhile, a former Trailblazer has been indicted on sports gambling charges as part of an expanding federal investigation. Prosecutors say years after he left Rip City, Ed Davis worked with a group to influence the performance of his former Timberwolves teammate, Malik Beasley. Prosecutors say Beasley allegedly had millions of dollars in gambling debt and owed Davis money. They claim Beasley promised bettors he would make good on different prop bets, like getting at least 4 rebounds at a game. Then, when a different NBA player was charged for fixing outcomes in 2024, court documents say Beasley and Davis deleted messages and removed themselves from conversations. Beasley's lawyer asking people to reserve judgment now until all the facts are known. Well, Oregon and Washington voters, you can rest easy tonight after a key U.S. Supreme Court decision today, one that preserves the status quo. In a 5-4 decision, the court ruled that states can, yes, continue to count ballots that arrive after Election Day, rejecting a challenge by the Trump administration and the Republican National Committee in a case out of Mississippi. Now, both Oregon and Washington, of course, count ballots postmarked on or before Election Day as long as they arrive within 7 days. And while President Trump called the ruling surprising, Oregon's governor said, quote, "This is essential for Oregonians across the state to be able to participate in our democracy in a way that is accessible and convenient." President Trump has been denied this attempt to try to silence voters.